Specter of Torment is the latest expansion to Shovel Knight, a prequel that's available as a standalone campaign on Nintendo Switch, or as part of a awesome bundle priced at a steal. This follows the Specter Knight as he sets out to gather an army for the series' primary antagonist, the Enchantress. Now, Specter Knight's default skill set is dramatically more varied than that of Shovel Knight, with focus on the lightness and dexterity of this character, as opposed to Shovel Knight's heavier brute force feel. Specter Knight has an innate ability to wall jump, mount ledges, and vertically scale walls for a short time. Most significantly, Specter has the ability to perform mid-air scythe dash on enemies and certain environmental objects, an attack which sends him flying at an angle and is used for traversal as much as for offense. This was groundbreaking, and even though it seems like it's only a small addition to the movement set, this really opened up what this game could be, and I realized that Specter Knight, because of its movement set and because of the additions to the movement, is far superior than Shovel Knight. Now, the execution of these moves is simple, requiring nothing more than a timely press of the attack or jump button, and together they make Specter feel like a powerfully agile character who is a joy to control. But with these abilities come more difficult challenges in Specter of Torment's new platforming levels. Unlike Shovel Knight, whose stages gradually grew in difficulty and were gated in an overworld map style reminiscent of Super Mario Bros. 3, Specter of Torment presents you with a full selection of what I personally found to be equally challenging stages and their accompanying boss fights, available to be tackled in any order, in any structure, more reminiscent of maybe the Mega Man series. Bottomless pits and other instant death hazards feel more abundant in Specter of Torment, and proceeding forward almost always involves more than just careful jumping. Stages often require you to chain a series of movements together in order to keep Specter Knight airborne for extended periods of time over treacherous ground, and one fumbled execution could mean a complete do-over. You might climb the side of a wall to get just high enough to wall jump towards a series of swinging chandeliers, letting you scythe dash through each one, and eventually fling yourself across the room to mantle an opposing wall. Managing to reach a checkpoint after perfectly overcoming a series of obstacles without fumbles or fatalities is always a thrilling relief. The dexterous demands of performing these moves means that progress always feels satisfying and well earned, even when it feels second nature. Each themed stage adds its own unique mechanical twist to the game's platforming, which, need to be internalized too. These twists are huge and they're wonderful. Everything from flying and trying to keep up with the screen to jumping around underwater, which increases the height of your jump. There are other really incredibly memorable ones, such as scythe surfing, which Specter Knight rides his scythe like a skateboard and grinds rails to move through stages at speed, but otherwise the majority will kind of be familiar to those who have played Shovel Knight. Albeit the minor twists to better accommodate Specter's abilities are fantastic. This is unsurprising given the game's prequel nature and the appearance of many of the same characters and worlds, but the new level designs still feel more demanding and harder, but because of the moveset being more accessible and you feel like you can jump through and navigate through the levels better, this game ends up being something even greater than Shovel Knight. Specter of Torment also features many of the same formidable level bosses as the original Shovel Knight, and although many of the battles with them seem a bit too familiar to their previous appearances, some are altered significantly to make the most of Specter's mobility, and can come as an enjoyable surprise to those familiar. The fight with Propeller Knight, for example, no longer takes place on a static platform, but in the midst of many tiny cascading airships requiring you to control and scramble upwards while dodging attacks. The completion of each level allows you to purchase additional curios, Specter of Torment's unique version of Shovel Knight's relics, which allow for more special abilities at the cost of consumable meter. Each curio has its own distinct use and to aid in dispatching enemies or maybe to ease the burden of traversal. Even though I didn't use these a ton because I enjoyed the base function of the game, I did find myself using the one that healed my will many times. Each new tool adds a extremely new facet, and it's really awesome to build this skill set. Many of what made the original Shovel Knight a success can also be found in Specter Knight. Level designs are cleverly made and act as intuitive tutorials demonstrating the possibilities and limits of what you can and can't do in particular stages with explicit explanation. The checkpoint system in this game is extremely good and useful due to the extreme challenges of traversing as the Spectre. While it took me a few hours to complete the total game's story mode, Specter of Torment felt really well paced and never unnecessarily short. The density of challenge contained within its individual stages meant that I was always entirely concentrated on the next obstacle. But Specter of Torment attempts to pace its demands on your mental state every few levels with short, interactive, narrative interludes that serve as an enjoyable prequel to the prequel campaign. A prequel to a prequel? To a prequel? To a prequel? I'm just kidding. It's just a prequel to a prequel. Specter of Torment also offers a new game plus option upon completion with a slightly more demanding health mechanic, and also offers a challenge mode which presents a variety of platforming and boss fight trials under strict restraints. Specter of Torment is a finely crafted 2D platformer that is satisfying in all respects. Simply controlling Spectre Knight, flying through the air and slicing through enemies is a joy in itself, and being able to push your ability to control these skills and overcoming the game's cleverly designed and challenging levels is always an exhilarating feeling. Specter of Torment is a focused, polished, and satisfyingly challenging game that's well worth experiencing whether or not you've had the pleasure of playing the original Shovel Knight. I highly, highly encourage you, if you have not already played the series, to dig in by purchasing on the eShop right now the bundled together series at a steal of a price. Specter of Torment was amazing, and I highly recommend this game.